Hello and welcome back to You Want to Do What with Dan and Julie. Today we're going to be talking to a fashionista. She works for a UK heritage brand, and we're going to have a huge discussion about e-commerce.
Hi guys, I am the fashionista.
Hi everyone, it's great to be back after obviously COVID happening around the world. That's part of the reasons why we haven't been able to produce anything. So really great to be back doing some podcasts.
So, it's a bit hot in here, isn't it?
I'm absolutely sweating.
So it's like midsummer and it is boiling in this conservatory. Right, first question. Why fashion?
Well, because I guess when I was young, I always knew I wanted to go into fashion. My mum and dad always joke that I used to get dressed 5 times a day. And I just knew that I didn't want, the Sunday night blues. I wanted to do something that I would actually enjoy, which I thought was fashion. I used to watch The Hills and used to see Lauren Conrad work as an intern and all the glamorous side to it. I just thought it would be really fun. So yeah, I chose fashion.
Now, fashion's obviously, when everyone thinks about it, you've got your standard high street clothes, you've got your crazy catwalk fashion things that happen over there. But fashion's a huge industry. I mean, even though you are in fashion, I think a lot of people would consider designing as to be the original fashion thing. But you're not in designing, you're in something else. So what is it you do in fashion?
So yeah, when you sort of tell people that you're in fashion, or especially at school, when I told all my teachers that I wanted to go into fashion, they thought, oh, she wants to be a supermodel, or oh, she wants to be a designer. But actually, fashion is such a big industry. It's such a big business, and it's, multi-billion pound industry. That's why, I wanted to go into it, because at the end of the day, you're always going to need clothes, hopefully. So it's always going to be there. But yeah, what I actually do is digital content, which is all to do with the website, really, e-commerce, and creating a website that is not only looks great to the eye, but it's workable, and at the end of the day, you trade it. So it's a real big money churner for the company as well, which is great.
So, e-commerce, what is the future of fashion? Are people actually going to go to stores anymore? I personally don't ever really go and shop for clothes in the store.
I know, I do. Being a bigger gentleman, ordering online doesn't always work for me. But I know particularly during the lockdown, my family have ordered nothing but clothes online. I think my sister and my mum are on a outlet 1 hour buy all you can every other day, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, online e-commerce, what does that actually entail?
Yeah, so I mean, during COVID especially, we have I've been really super lucky to be on the digital team. We haven't been affected by the horrors of retail. Retail was having a tough time already, and I think it sounds really morbid, but COVID might be the end of it. But I think, you can look at it two ways. I think people are going to be really excited to go back to stores and have that experience. They've really missed it. Or, it's made people think, well, actually, ordering online is super easy, free returns, free delivery. You can get it the next day. It's super, super easy. So I think that, I feel like digital is the way forward, hence why I wanted to go into digital. But I think stores need to up their game in sort of offering an experience rather than just, go in to buy the clothes. You've got to give people a reason to go to the high street again.
So what is your average day, obviously being at home in the COVID? Has it changed much?
Not really. Where we are digital, I look after the website. I don't really need to, go to stores, go on the shop floor or anything like that. But, just the having a personal side, I really miss that. With fashion, it's so diverse and it's so creative. working on the website, I'm sort of the middleman between, you know, the traders that look after the figures and the stock, between them and the creative team as well. So it's really tricky trying to find that balance, as well as like reading people's messages in the tone of voice that they intended. Especially with creative people, you know, they can get pretty offended if, you know, your tone of voice is wrong. So I think in person it's a lot more easy than just being at home, but you know, I haven't been too affected.
I was going to say, actually, so being on the e-commerce side of fashion, the digital side of fashion, do you actually get to see and get involved in the actual, not the designing, but sort of decision making of like what's it going to look like, you know, maybe the brand of things, and do you get any sort of, does everyone work together within fashion?
Yeah, I think like fashion, you know, everything works together. So at the start of this season or at the end of the season, all of the traders will sort of look back at what has been selling and what hasn't been performing well. You know, at the end of the day, we are a business. We want to sell things. That is our end goal. So we look at the numbers, and then I guess that does influence, you know, design. If, say, I don't know, we have, for example, a teapot that is bright orange and it doesn't sell, then we know next season, let's not do a teapot in orange. Let's do it in purple instead.
So that's obviously a very analytical way of thinking. Do you get involved in looking at the analytical stuff?
So we always say that like our team is the shallow team. So we so we will look at the numbers. You know, I'm not into that sort of thing, but we will look at the numbers, look at what's performing well, what isn't, and we'll come up with like a strategy to see how we can improve, you know, the things that are flagging that might need, you know, a bit of an extra push. But yeah, I don't really look at Excel. I hate Excel. I mean, I can do a VLOOKUP. But yeah, that's as far as my skills go in that sort of thing.
So you mentioned earlier sort of working with lots of different people, and you've got to be careful your tone of voice, working with creatives. What kind of personality do you need to have to be in this? Quite open, quite easygoing, or do you need to be, you know, this is what I think, this is what we should do? Is there a bit of both, or?
So I think when you first start out, especially like as a teen, you just need to be a yes man. So anything that they ask you to do, you know, even if you think, probably can't do it, or, you know, I can do it, but it's going to sort of take another hour, 2 hours, and I've got drinks tonight, you just have to say yes and do it. I think, you know, that's how you progress in sort of any industry, but especially fashion. You know, you have got to work so hard because it is such a sort of dog eat dog, whatever it is. What is it?
Dog eat dog.
Yeah, dog eat dog industry. And, you know, it's fierce, it's feisty. And if you don't say yes, you know, they'll find someone that will say yes. So.
I was going to say, it's got a, you know, the Devil Wears Prada movie. It's got a pretty like cutthroat image, fashion. Is it a bit like that, or it's not as bad as Devil Wears Prada?
I mean, from my personal experience, it's not as bad. You know, I think it depends on you as a person. I think if you put your head above water and you don't get sucked into that sort of environment, then, you know, it's easy breezy. But I mean, you just can't take things personally, especially in fashion. You know, things happen so quickly. You're in, you're out. You know, you just can't take it personally. Don't get sucked into the drama.
So while you're on the e-commerce side, I'd be quite interested to know, what are some of the other departments you work with that maybe not everyone knows are in fashion?
So yeah, as a website pretty much has everything. You know, we look after the homepage, product listing pages, product description pages, all the way through to like all the legal stuff. So, I mean, I don't personally do it, but a lot of customers, you'd be surprised, actually look at sort of the terms and conditions and the legal pages of websites.
Nobody reads that. No way.
They actually do. So we'll have like customers that sort of say, you know, oh, this says this on the website, but actually it came like this. And it's like, well, I mean, okay, like you get customers that are so nitpicky. So you do, I mean, it's so like wide. You work with like legal, especially like if you have like an international site, America, you can get sued from having like an add to bag button. If it's not visible, you will get sued. So it's like things like that. So we work with legal team. We also work a lot with customer services. I mean, customers love to moan. I don't know how customer services do it. I mean, hats off to them. Some of the emails, honestly, it's just crazy, insane. These like sad people. But yeah. So, and then we work a lot with like the studio, who take all of the tactical images as well as the e-com images, and like I said, like the trade side as well.
So what would you say is your favourite thing about working in fashion?
All the free shit that you get. So all the free stuff that you get. So, I mean, we all have a joke that in fashion you don't get paid in money. You get paid in free stuff, which is definitely true. Perks of the job, you know, brands want you. I mean, you're the biggest advertiser. You know, if you are on a train, they want you to be, I don't know, wearing the brand or, you know, carrying the brand in any shape or form. So yeah, that is definitely the perk of getting lots of free stuff and really great discounts as well, which is really, really nice.
And what about the negatives of the fashion industry?
Negatives, you know, it's like feisty, as I said. Like one day something's in, the next it's out. So, you know, if you plan a season and it's going really well and then all of a sudden, you know, things change, like COVID, and, you know, you have stock delays and products aren't coming in that you wanted to push and you know that we're going to push, you know, you have to step back and you have to change the whole plan. So, you know, to work in fashion, you have to be adaptable. You know, it's so fast-paced.
Extremely fast-paced.
Yeah, exactly. Like one day you're in, one day you're out, and you know you have to keep up with like current affairs as well. You know, if someone in the public eye is wearing something from your brand, you know, you've got to like get in and quickly, you know, promote that product in the best way possible before it's out again.
Have you seen a big movement in advertising through social media then?
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, social media is one of the biggest drivers for anything, especially traffic to the website. You know, you see someone online, a big influencer that's wearing something, and if they wear it in the right way and it's the right person, you know, you could sell that product, I mean, extremely well. It's like really tricky to keep up with, you know, social trends, and and as well, I think it's really difficult to have a brand tone of voice now, you know, with, for example, Black Lives Matter, and the whole blackout thing on social media. You know, it was so powerful, and brands were getting involved, and, you know, some brands people could see through, you know, they were just jumping on the bandwagon trying to do it for, you know, PR purposes. So I think now with social media, you've got to be so careful with how you represent your brand, because, you know, 1 minute everyone loves you and you can post the wrong thing and that's it, you're like boycotted.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I can see that across a lot of different industries actually.
So we do a little bit of the nitty gritty on not too much. Money. So we sort of checked some stats earlier, and we were looking at sort of average starting incomes. Now, most of jobs, correct me if I'm wrong, most of the jobs seem to be around the big sort of city areas, Manchester, London, and starting salaries obviously vary depending on what city you're in.
Yeah.
But from between 18 to 24 is sort of starting, and then apparently average across the country is about 32.5k. Does that sort of ring bells with you?
You know, I think fashion, it's really difficult. You know, I'm going to be brutal here. To start out in fashion, you are going to have to work for free. You know, the main reason how I got the foot in the door is because, you know, I interned at one place for free. So, you know, you have to try and find that money to cover your transport costs. And then I interned at another place again for free. So, you know, you need to find a bag of money to sort of help you even get into the office to work for free. Which I think is, you know, a downfall of the fashion industry. You know, you sort of go into the office. I mean, I know this is really stereotypical, but, you know, everyone is probably comes from affluent families. You know, it sounds terrible, but, you know, to get into fashion, you have to be prepared for, you know, your parents or someone else to sort of stum up some money to get you to your place of work as an intern. So I think that's really tricky to try and, get the foot in the door, as well as try and get into the office, and get the train.
So it's actually very much like in The Devil's Wears Prada, where they actually have a quote. I think it says, there's 100 other girls just like you, where there is 100 other people literally behind you trying to get that foot in the door as well.
Yeah, definitely. There's no other way to get into the fashion industry except for interning, especially sort of leaving school. That's how you get your experience. Yes, you can work in a shop. That is really, helpful. But at the end of the day, to get your foot in the door, you're going to have to intern, be prepared to work for free. A lot of people I know did like a foundation year. That really helped them. I didn't do that. I kind of just flew through uni. And then at the end of it, I had a summer, really great summer. And then, September, it was looking for internships, work for free for 6 months to a year. And then you get sort of an assistant role, which, is baseline salary. But once you have your foot in the door, as I say, just be a yes man and, the world's your oyster, as they say.
So what's something that's not necessarily in the job description that when you work in fashion, you mentioned it earlier, you joked about, hating Excel and things. Do you need to be a little bit, have a brain for sort of maths, or do you need to know a bit about design, or is it a mixture of sort of a lot of different aspects?
I mean, it depends what sort of sector you go into. I don't know. It's tricky. I think where it's such a big business, you can be in sort of any form of the fashion industry. But yeah, you just need to be prepared to sort of, be thrown in the deep end. One day you might be, I don't know, styling for a shoot. The next, you're packing up boxes for 3 days. And then all of a sudden, you're roped into setting up the sample sale. You go from really glamorous days to, working in the office really late, especially when it's sort of sale time, around December, November, December, really big months for retail. So you don't really have a day off, November to December, just because, that's where we make all our money before Christmas. So yeah, I would say sort of unsocial hours, be prepared to be in the office really late, especially, if you have a big event going on, things crop up that you don't even think about happening. And, it's like a domino effect. If one thing is late and you're, I don't know, waiting to put an image up on the website and they're still waiting for the paint to dry in that building where they're going to take the pictures, you just have to wait.
Obviously, you're in e-commerce. Is there room to move up in the fashion world? Obviously, I assume you've got managers, they've got managers. And how easy is it to do that? And also, what about once you're in the door? Is it a common thing to move from different areas in fashion to different areas or even different companies? Yeah,
I think, a lot of people, I feel like they're either one extreme to the other. Some people, stay in a company for 20, 40 years and they're sort of ride or die with that company. But a lot of young professionals I know, they have to jump, they have to go from company to company. Sometimes that's the only way to progress. So yeah, I'd say definitely, it's such a quick turnaround and things change so dramatically, I don't know, social jobs weren't around 5-10 years ago, it just wasn't even a thing, especially, different aspects of the website, you have your customer, UX designers, they weren't around sort of 5-10 years ago. So I just think digital, especially e-commerce, it offers so many different opportunities, and I think it's just going to keep growing and growing. But to progress, you either need to be a ride or die with that brand, or keep jumping and get up the ladder, because some people don't move, and if your boss has been there 20 years, probably seems that they're not going to move anytime soon, so maybe you should, just to progress there.
So what kind of elements of e-commerce do you feel like you really need to know to sort of progress in your career? You know, you mentioned you look at the website, you do a bit of trade sometimes, but what do you need to sort of master so you can move up further in the e-commerce part of fashion?
Well, as I said, it's so like broad. I think you need a good understanding of a little bit of everything. I think you need a good understanding of figures. I mean, what's selling, what's not, just so you can do like categories and like push things to the top. But also you need to have sort of a baseline thinking of a customer perspective. So, you know, I don't know, Sandy, who's 65, you know, wants to buy something from your website. You need to make it so easy for her. So you need to, you know, think, how are we going to get this conversion rate up? The fewer clicks possible, the better. But also, you know, marrying all these things with it looking like nice, especially if you work in sort of a high luxury brand. Branding is key. So, you know, you've got to find the balance of things looking really great as well as being functional as well.
I suppose we haven't really covered this, but fashion, is it an office job? You know, do you do much travel? Is there many business trips? Are you going to the factories to check out the product, or are you know, is it a 9 to 5, get in the office, you know, get it done?
Well, it varies like day to day, I guess. And like I say, it depends what you do. I know like a lot of like the creative team, they're forever taking like trips around the world to get inspiration for like the designs of the next season, the next collection, which is great. They seem to be off and about all the time. And then, you know, you have your 9 to 5, which I mean, I probably fall into. Although some days, you know, I'll be sat at my desk. Other days, there'll be an e-commerce shoot going on and I'll be helping, you know, okay, we need to shoot this and we need to shoot that after, you know, doing a shoot list. So, yeah, I guess it varies day to day, which is why, you know, fashion's so great because you're not stuck in the office like 9 to 5, 5 days a week. You know, there's always things that you can be doing and getting stuck into as well.
Brilliant. You did a degree in fashion, very similar to what you actually do now.
Yeah.
What was your degree, and how close is it to actually what you do day to day?
Yeah, so I went to uni. I did a 3-year course. It wasn't a Bachelor of Arts. It was a Bachelor of Science, but it was in fashion marketing. And you know, I do think without your degree, I probably wouldn't be where I am right now. The first year was sort of, you know, everyone did the same thing. So I did the same thing as the textiles students as well as fashion management, where we learnt about fabrics. And, you know, turn up on the first day, you don't expect to sort of be in a lab, putting chemicals on different fabrics and seeing how they're treated and, you know, going through the quality control of it. And then second and third year, you know, it's really tailored to what you're doing. So it's really creative. You know, I learnt my Photoshop skills and Illustrator skills at uni. Without that, I mean, you know, I wouldn't have Photoshop skills. And then also, you know, it is a business degree at the end of the day. So you are learning about numbers and how a successful business is functioning. So yeah, I think my degree helped massively.
It sounds super interesting, really varied, and actually I might go into it. What about you?
I think I might do the same actually. It sounds like a lot of hard work though, but
I think you guys need to dress better.
Savage. Okay, so last question really. Would you still go into fashion now, knowing what you know?
Absolutely. You know, I may not be earning, you know, millions right now, but I don't have Sunday night blues, which is really, really nice. You know, every day is varied. I'm doing what I love, you know, looking at fashion all day, and, you know, fast-paced environment really suits me. Yeah, like I feel like if I was in a stuffy office, I mean, I did do an internship for 1 week in an office environment where I actually fell asleep during a big conference next to my boss, which is then I realized, you know, corporate world is not for me. Let's go into fashion. So yeah, I think, you just got to try different things, see what you like. And if it is fashion, be prepared to work really hard. But I mean, it's so rewarding because it at the end of the day, I find it really, really fun.
That's amazing. Thank you for that incredible insight into fashion, which I certainly didn't know a lot about. So that's brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming on.
Thanks, guys.